Hi everyone, I'm Mindula Perera. I'm the Assistant District Rotaract Representative for the Rotary year 2022-2023, and I'm going to speak about SDG Goal 4, which is quality education.
Providing quality education for all is a fundamental to creating a peaceful and prosperous world. What does the term quality education mean to you?
Yeah, good question. So, if you take the SDG goal itself, the lengthy description for that goal is ensuring inclusive, equitable, quality education and providing lifelong learning for all. So throughout my Rotaract career, I think I've tried to ensure that the gap between rural communities and their urban counterparts are bridged through education. So I think that is very important, and I think that is the way forward in bridging that gap between those social statuses.
Why do you think quality education isn't something that every child gets in Sri Lanka?
Yeah. So if you take a look at the SDG goal itself, I think there's 10 targets, and 7 of them are outcome targets. And one outcome target is in increasing the number of people with the financial skills to gain financial success. So things like that where we need practical skills, soft skills to empower ourselves. I think that is not incorporated into a curriculum. So in a perspective, like if you take Singapore, they ensure their students or their children become global citizens. They have a separate business language, working language, whereas they have a set of official languages. So if we can incorporate that and prepare our children to that level, I think that would be the ideal outcome, which is not currently happening in Sri Lanka right now.
What steps do you think the Sri Lankan government can take to achieve this goal?
Right, so as I spoke before, I think change in the curriculum is very important, where we can incorporate things like financial literacy, certain soft skills into the curriculum. I think that is very important. And the other thing is we don't put enough emphasis on English and certain skills. We need to make our students not just citizens of a specific community or the country, but global citizens. In my perspective, in so many instances where I've gone and talked with the students, they are not exposed to certain things which are happening out there in the globe. So if we can incorporate that into our education through the government, I think that is very, very important.
How do you think we as Rotaractors can contribute to achieve this goal?
Right, good question. So I think out of the 10 targets, 3 are implementation targets, and 1 is building inclusive and safe schools and school environments. So as Rotaractors, I think we are the people who are engaging with foreign communities. So we've seen how those people learn and how those people manage to do their studies. So if we can take something from that and take those learnings and try to incorporate that in our communities, in our projects, I think that would be very important, because as Rotaractors, that is something we have coming from, the majority of our community is coming from privileged backgrounds. So I believe if we can take that experiences, if we can take those learnings and incorporate them into our projects, that would be very useful.
So Mindula, you were talking about quality education on this, right?
Correct.
From your Rotaract career, could you discuss maybe one initiative that particularly stood out to you without going into specifics that targeted quality education?
Yeah. So, without a question, the first project which comes to my mind is Project Akankara. This is a project which we've been doing for 6 years, I think, almost 6 years now from the club. So the specialty of that project is we've been doing that project for the same school for 6 years. And the highlight of that project is, I think we started with a pass rate of 15% for English for the O-level kids, and now we are at a 60% pass rate. Then for maths, science, everything's almost at 100%. So I think that is one project, I think, which I learned also without doing one-off projects where we do a project 1 year and we forget about the school. Maybe we can build a certain legacy and certain level of sustainability from a project, focusing on one specific school and one specific community. So that is one of the good projects I've done in my career.